Hey everybody, welcome back. I have another nail tutorial for you guys today. It's this fall gradient using this beautiful green and this sheer nude polish. The two polishes are Essie Expose. This is one of my top 10 picks for fall. Each season I pick 10 polishes and do swatches and nail designs for each one. And this is the design for this one. And then this other one is Skinny Dip, which I probably should have added as one of my favorites, but I knew I'd be using it in several designs, so I didn't. But it's this gorgeous sheer polish that levels out really nice. It's not patchy. It does take a couple coats to build up, but that's the nature of the polish. It's just sheer, but it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite sheer polishes. So I've done this on all my nails except for the one that I'm going to show you how to do, and it's really simple. Let's get into some tips and tricks for doing a gradient. I failed to add a base coat, but usually you want to start off with a base coat and then do a first coat of this polish. As you can see, it levels out really well and it's not patchy, but it is going to take some more layers to build up. So I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat, and then after this I'll go ahead and do a third coat. After you're finished with that third coat, you want to go ahead and let that dry at least for 10 to 15 minutes. You want it to be pretty dry. But while that's drying, I'm going to use this Simply Pill. This is a latex barrier that's just going to make cleanup a lot easier. If you don't have this, that's fine. You can just clean up with acetone and a small brush when you're finished. So I'm just going to apply this all around the edges of my nail, being careful not to get it on the nail, but you just want to make sure you get up to the cuticle. And you also want to make sure you get the tip of your finger as well, because you do tend to get polish at the top, depending on how long or short your nails are. This also takes some time to dry, so you can let those dry together. And when this dries, it'll dry completely clear. That's when you'll know that it is completely dry. Now we're ready for the next step, and that's just prepping our bottles, making sure that we have both the lids off completely. So I'm going to take the lid off this one and set it aside, and the lid off the green one as well. So I just like those caps just resting on top so I can get to them easily. So I'm going to set those there, and then I'm going to get my makeup sponge and I'm going to paint on this first color up on the top. And since this is the first time doing it on the sponge, I'm going to do it a few times just to make sure that it's getting in the sponge a little bit. And then right up against that color, I'm going to use my sheer nude and just paint it right next to it. You don't have to mix them or anything, they'll mix on their own, just paint them side by side. So now I'm ready to sponge that on my nail. So I'm going to get that in the position that I wanted. I want to have the green at the tip, and I'm going to roll over that a few times, going down a little bit each time, but just a tiny bit. And you're not going to notice much of a difference the first time you do this, but you're going to repaint again those colors and then do the same thing. And I like to blow on my nail in between each one to make sure it dries. If it's not completely dry and you sponge it, then it's going to pull it off. So make sure it's dry, and you're just going to want to repeat this until you get it the opacity that you want it. I repeated this step 5 times. Now if you're doing your entire hand, you want to make sure you're getting fresh paint for each nail every time you're doing it, or you're going to have to do it multiple times. More than 5, probably like 8 to 10. So go ahead and pull that latex barrier off. You can see that that made cleanup really nice, and then I'm going to come in with some acetone on my brush and clean up the last little bits that are left there around my cuticle area. Then you don't necessarily have to wait for this to dry before you do your top coat, because it's okay if it smears into it a little bit, and just go ahead and apply your favorite top coat. I'm using HK Girl by Glisten and Glow. And that's the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you recreate this design, please use hashtag inspired by gopolish or tag me on Instagram, because I'd love to see it. Thanks guys, we'll talk to you later.